Good afternoon. This is Auto Buddy Joe. Yeah, I trimmed my beard. No, I didn't trim my beard. My wife trimmed my beard and I got a haircut. Anyways, well, Thanksgiving was yesterday. So anyways, I decided that we're going to do some work to the Camaro, kind of bounce back and forth between that and right beside the Camaro, right there, is the International. I decided we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between the two because, well, I got all winter and in the end, I really don't have the funds to finish the International or this right now. So I wanted to give a different flavor instead of just always seeing what I'm doing with the International. So we're going to start on the Camaro, and the first thing we're going to start with here is just taking off. I already ripped the rear end out, which was actually kind of easy because the floor was so rotted and the springs were broken and everything. I literally jacked up the car and the rear end and leaf springs and everything just fell right out. So that was the easy part. So yeah, like I said, this car's a real hunk of cuckamanua, and so we're going to take the subframe off today. We're going to get this off, get all the brakes off, all the steering column, all that stuff, so we can take the frame out of there. And I think our first thing that I'm going to try and attack is cutting out this firewall and replacing the firewall with the brand new firewall that we do have. So it's all nuts and bolts, taking off all that stuff, so it's kind of self-explanatory. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this frame stripped off of here. It's 4 bolts on the frame. I'm thinking these bolts will come right out down here on the front, and the subframe on the floor there, I'm sure it's rotted, and when I jack it up, it's just going to fall right out anyways. But it is all just nuts and bolts, so we're just going to, I'm just going to go ahead and take that all off right now, and then we'll start with cleaning the firewall off and getting, you know, we'll video that. All right, thank you, bye. Or stay tuned. Yeah, you know what I mean. Goodbye. I got the subframe out, as you can see. Big ass mess. Got the subframe out. I also took my wire wheel and I cleaned off all the original seam sealer around here. You can see the line. That's why this is getting, one of the biggest reasons why this is getting replaced. Also the toe kicks. The toe kicks are no good. So that's why we're replacing the entire firewall, because it's just a piece of junk. This, I don't even know if that's factory. On a Camaro, it's definitely not. So I don't know why those are there, but we're going to get rid of those. You know, we're going to put a whole firewall in it. So I cleaned off the seam sealer. The second piece of metal you see right here needs to stay, because that is actually this inner cowl piece right here. So that will be staying, but we need to cut off the welds right here. These are just kind of easy welds to grind off, nothing major, but get rid of all those. But they also come down all around here, so we got to get rid of all those, and same on the other side. But right now, that's what we're going to do, is start getting that out of the way. And I am going to butcher this because I don't care. All I know for sure is that that one big piece that you can see the outline of needs to come out. So I don't care if I butcher the heck out of it and then clean off the little pieces after, but just get it out of there. That's the big deal. Alright, so I got some of the top of the firewall cut out. We're going to go ahead and just cut a big ass chunk out of the center and go from there. Like I said, we're just hacking this thing out. Getting to be a pretty big hole here. We'll see. I'm going to take a look and see what we got to do next. Alright, as you can see, I got a big hole cut out of the firewall right now. I can't exactly see how else these are attached. So what I'm going to do is just run the Sawzall right down the edge of where I've already cut off over here. Same on both sides. Just get that big chunk out of there and then we'll fine tune what we got to cut off. Cutting out the rest of the firewall here. You see how I cut off over here. Now we can see that we got to cut out that, and we got to cut out this, and we got to cut out this. Well, we don't have to cut this out because I already broke the pinch welds here. But so basically what I'm going to do from here is run a cutoff wheel right through here. And I don't necessarily have to run it right through here because it's already broke off, but maybe right through here or whatever. You can kind of see the residual that's left right now. We got to get rid of all that and just keep this piece right here. So also the you can kind of see where the firewall actually welds to the inner rocker right here. As you can see, the inner rocker is no good as well, so we'll have to replace that after. But what we want to do is at least save this so it goes back to where it should be. I did take a measurement earlier from the bottom of the body mount to the top of here is 19 3/8. So when we put the new one in, as long as I make sure it's there, it should be fine. But yeah, so right now we're just going to cut out the residual stuff with cutoff wheel on the grinder. The whole firewall is cut out. I haven't cleaned any of like these welds or anything like that yet, and that we might have to address. I don't know yet. That's where that big ass hole was punched in through the firewall here. But either way, the next thing I'm gonna do now that it's all cut out is put the firewall in place and see what we need to do from there. The brand new firewall is pretty much in place, but I'm definitely going to have to clean off all the welds and everything to make it sit a little bit better. But it is sitting where it needs to sit, and my measurements from earlier match what it is, but it's really tight. And so I'm going to take it back out and just clean off all the welds or pinch welds that I took off earlier, clean it all up, and I'll fit that back on, and we should be able to weld it on. I got it all cleaned off and stuck back on, but if you guys remember, there was a hole punched in right around here. Well, that hole kind of went up into this piece here, and you see there's a couple little spots. We got to get fixed right there and right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix those. Again, it's just stupid little patching stuff, so I'm not gonna put it on video, but I'm gonna pull this off one last time. Oh yes, I did fit it back on after I cleaned up all the old welds and everything, and I do like where it's sitting. My measurements are right on, so that's where it's gonna sit, but we're gonna pull it off one more time. I got it all cleaned off the way I want it cleaned off. I'm not going to weld it onto here or here because the inner and outers are going to get changed, the inner and outer rocker panels, because you see there's supposed to be an inner rocker right here. It's all rotted away and no good. And as you can see, the whole floor, everything's no good. So for now, I'm just going to get the firewall on in place where it needs to be. According to the measurements I took yesterday, but I'm not welding here or the opposite side there because we're going to do the inner rockers next after I cut the floor out of this. But the reason why I want to get the firewall on first is that way the body doesn't spread apart or anything like that. With the firewall on, it will stay where it needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and start to get that stuck in place. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to just put a few plug welds in it. I'm not going to go crazy with it yet and finish it off, only because I want to make sure that we're not going to run into any issues when we put the new inner rockers on or anything like that. So we're just going to put a few plug welds in it real quick so we can take off any clamps I have on it or all that stuff. But so let's do that right now. We're going to do that right now. Alright, for now that's all I'm going to do is just those couple plugs I put on there. I'll take my clamps off, and later on, just because this is supposed to be about putting the firewall on, later on after I plug weld all of it, I'll clean the welds, finish them, and then we put seam sealer around the whole thing. To do the seam sealer, what I normally do is I'll run a big thick bead all the way around it, and then I take a paint stick, which is, you know, I don't know, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, something like that. It kind of mimics exactly what the factory did. So I'll run a big bead of seam sealer around it and then wipe it with the paint stick, and that pretty much gives the factory look with a little bit of, you know, rounded on the bottom and top, just like it was from the factory. So it works pretty good that way. If you guys don't know that trick, that's what I do. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it.